Good morning to you, good day to you, good evening to you. Whatever time of day it is that you are watching this, I wish you the absolute best. My name is Freed. Welcome to The Art of Being Freed. This is a show that focuses on growth mindset for creators. And on today's show, I am energized to introduce to you Maggie Jane, who is a triple threat. She's a model. She's an actress. She's a passionate creative force, recently seen in a Nike commercial, featured in a Nike commercial with Devin Booker. She is featured in Amazon Prime movies. She's all out on the fashion scene as a model. Maggie Jane, welcome to The Art of Being Freed. It is great to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm very, very excited to be here, and I think that was a beautiful intro.
Appreciate it. Well, it's really cool to connect because I've been following your journey. We follow one another on Instagram. And I remember when you dropped that Devin Booker commercial, and we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about just balancing passions and just how to be inspired and remain inspired as you're going on your journey. But one of the things I was really interested in when I first started to follow you was that you have a lot of different talents. So creatives often are juggling multiple passions like modeling or podcasting, doing commercials in your case. How do you manage your time and energy to excel in both areas, avoid burnout, and still have time for self-care?
Oh, it's a great question. Honestly, the modeling world is definitely very draining. So I'd say that's probably the hardest one to stay top of my game with. But I'm very big into meditation and journaling and breath work. So just making sure that I set away time in the mornings to do that. And before any shoot or any runway, I would try to make sure I get my workout in. So just making sure I go to the gym and just still connecting with myself first. I think that's definitely the most important thing, is giving yourself time to connect with yourself, because when you're in that type of environment, it can be so overwhelming, and there's so many invites to so many different after parties or just all of this. So just really finding that time to connect with yourself. And also I just have a passion for it. I just have a lot of love for it. So just being present when I'm in that space and not letting any comparison or judgment or just the whole environment of what it is, not letting that get to me, and just knowing I'm living a dream right now. So anytime I do anything or anytime I'm on set, it's just this is something that I used to look forward to, or something I used to dream about, or just watch people do on TV, and now I'm living it. So just trying to stay as present and possible as I can, and just finding the love, finding the gratitude for it. And I feel like that's the best way to just not get burnt out, because it is very easy. And also just remembering to have times of reflection, because there's times where when I first got started, I was doing 4 photo shoots a week, and since then I've slowed down a lot, and right now I'm traveling, so I'm really not doing that much other than my podcast. But yeah, just really connecting with myself and just trying to find the gratitude in everything.
That's an amazing answer, and I want to go slightly off script, because you mentioned the comparison piece, and I'd imagine in modeling, and I'm not in the modeling world, but growing up, I didn't watch America's Next Top Model, but I knew of it, and it was a competition. How have you managed to not get caught up in the trap of comparing yourself to others? Have you dealt with competition? If you have, how did you overcome that? How did you maneuver around that? I'd be curious to know, because that seems like a really tough game to navigate, and you seem very gracious in it. So how did you maneuver those competition and in comparison?
There's definitely a lot of competition, but I feel like if you want to get into the entertainment, whether it's modeling or acting, you just kind of have to go in with the mindset knowing you're not going to get booked for everything. You're going to get told no, and especially when it comes to modeling and acting, the people who are in charge, they have a set idea of what they're looking for. Mostly for acting. Modeling, it's It depends. It really depends on what they're looking for. But being able to take rejection and know that if you don't get booked, just being happy for the people that do. It's definitely very competitive, and it's very easy to get caught up in everything. But again, just if you're connecting with yourself and you're having that love for yourself, just knowing that whatever opportunities that do come your way, like, those are the ones that are meant for you. And those are the ones that are going to guide you on your path. Because not everybody can have the same path in this industry. And we all might think we want to do the exact same things, but it's never going to work out that way because that's just not how it is. And I feel like for me, I'm a redhead, so I automatically stand out. So people are either going to want me or they're not. Not everybody knows how to like fit a redhead in, and other people are like, oh, we need a redhead because she's going to stand out. So for me, I feel like the comparison is different because I automatically stand out.
It's important to own your uniqueness. Like, you know what makes you different. You know what makes you stand out immediately. And it might not always be a physical attribute, but, you know, in this case, in this instance, it is. When you talk about rejection, a lot of people tend to intertwine a role with their identity, and they allow the rejection to crumble them, right? Not just that aspect of their lives, but themselves. How do you overcome rejection?
I mean, my biggest thing is really just giving it all love. Like, there are some things, like, I'd say the most recent thing I got rejected for was a Foot Locker commercial. And it was Foot Locker and Nike. And I got a callback audition. And they had me on the audition trying to show them my basketball skills, which are not great whatsoever. So I was so happy. I was so excited about this one. I was like, yes, I'm going to get it. And then they're asking me, they're like, all right, do these moves on the camera. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I know, like, that one hurt because I really wanted that, and it was partnered with Nike again after, like, this was just a couple months after I did my other Nike commercials. So I was like, yes, I want this. I want to keep working with Nike. And then I didn't get it, and I was just like, you know what? It just wasn't meant for me.
Wow.
My basketball skills are not as good as whoever they picked.
What do you do to regain momentum? And I want to talk about that. You did this dope commercial with Devin Booker, and you're featured in the commercial. And so you're telling me that after that dope commercial, you had another opportunity with Foot Locker and Nike, but you did not get that. So what do you do? Because I know what I do, right? If I don't get something I want, like, what do you do to maintain that momentum? Do you seek to recreate yourself? Do you continue to push on doing the same thing? I'm just curious to know if you're riding high and you get this rejection that you really wanted to get, but it didn't happen. Like, how do you stay on? How do you stay engaged?
I just take it back to knowing that I'm going to get rejected at some point, and I feel like if I were to get that opportunity, maybe it would lead me down a path that I wasn't meant to go on. And I didn't get that opportunity, so it led me down the path that I am meant to go on. So, I mean, keeping that momentum and just like staying positive in that is just really, again, connecting with yourself and knowing that you're not going to get everything, and just trying to have as much love and gratitude and appreciation for one, even getting a callback or receiving that opportunity, and just being happy for whoever does book it. So it's just a lot of love and gratitude for myself, knowing that it wasn't because of me. I mean, it might have been because of my basketball skills, but, you know, I can't change it that quickly.
Yeah.
But just accepting, like, there's nothing wrong with me. I didn't do anything wrong. It's just not what they're looking for. And just having that separation of myself, because any job that I get, it's me playing a character. So, like, my version of that character got rejected. I didn't. That's kind of how I look at it. Yeah.
Again, it's role versus identity. So you've learned to establish hey, this is just the role. This is not who I am. I still get to go home and live life, experience life, be my best self. You talk about connecting with self, which is very important. You know, love, gratitude, appreciation. Sounds like a lot of love is at the foundation of what you do. Let's say someone is they're going through a period of time where they want to reinvent themselves. And there are a lot of people who break in later, right? I'm representing for the older folk who still have that talent and they want to break in, right? What are some ways that you connect with yourself, that you could talk to people who may have gone through just the hamster wheel of life and they've become disconnected? They're living in their role. They're not living in themselves. If you ever disconnect, what are some ways to reconnect that you like, one or two ways that you can recommend?
The first thing that comes to mind is just reconnecting with your younger self and your inner child, because I feel like that's where all the dreams start. And like when you were young, life hasn't happened yet and you haven't really gone through all those experiences. At least you're not fully aware. So just finding a way to reconnect with your inner child, and ways that you can do that is just one, simply looking through memories, looking at the way you used to be, looking at the things that you used to love when you were a kid. Because I know for me, a lot of the things that I used to love when I was really little, I still love to do those things now. So just finding ways to reconnect with that. And another way is writing a love letter to your younger self, or even to like your future self. Like, because we all have years to go, and whatever journey you're going through now, like that's just another phase of your journey. So just finding the love for it and reconnecting with that younger you, and remembering your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you living? What got you into whatever position you're in, and how would little you get yourself out of that?
Yeah, that's a dope question. That's like a super dope response. Like I took some really good notes there. There was this saying in this book, Think and Grow Rich, that you want to bathe your mind in thoughts and memories of past victories. Because we've all, although we go through losses, there are a lot of wins. And life is going to multiply itself just to exist. Like this interview is going to multiply. We're having this conversation now, but like lots of people are going to see it. And I would rather focus on the spiritual gifts that you talk about, love and gratitude and joy. Like, let me allow that to multiply. Let me not allow to multiply negativity, sorrow. You know what I mean? Things that are not enlightening. So that was a really dope response. And this, I'm gonna tell you right now, I had a whole script of questions, but all the questions I just asked you are not a part of that script because it just started flowing. And I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about the entertainment side of it. You know, I build myself as an entertainment artist. Right? How do you, this is interesting. This is more of a question for me, but I mean, be curious to know how long you've been in the entertainment industry. Is this something that you've been doing for a long time? A lot of folks I know have been doing this since they were kids. Some folks start late, and we talked about role versus identity. What are some ways that you find balance and just making sure you stay you as you ascend, as you go up, like things that you're on the lookout for because you're in the industry? So somebody might be hearing this that wants to get in. Like, what are some ways that you're looking to stay like balanced and not fall off the deep end? That's that's my perception. I don't know if it's like that, but you know, I'm just curious to know.
I mean, I think it definitely is. I love that question. But for your first question, I started in November of 2021. So it's only been just a few years. I was 19 at the time. I'm 21 now. So I'm from a small town in Illinois, and I got the opportunity to move to Arizona, and it started 2 weeks after I got to Arizona. I found an audition and just nonstop from there. But to your other question, I'm very stubborn. So when I got in, I know like the whole industry, and especially with modeling, a lot of things are very saturated. Like as you're working with any fashion, like they're not necessarily coming from a good place, and a lot of people are greedy. So I just went in with the mindset, I'm like, I do not care what opportunity it is, how much money they're offering. Like if it's not aligned with me and my purpose and who I am, I will refuse it. And I feel like because I had that mindset, I only received opportunities that were aligned with me. For example, like one of the main things I wanted to do was work with a hair company because I'm very passionate about my hair. And I didn't get that opportunity until like a year in, but it was all like natural plant-based and they had affirmations on the bottle. And for that campaign I was like journaling or drawing. So it was very aligned and very natural with like what I would do at home. So just knowing who you are and not settling or being desperate for just any opportunity, and knowing that if you stay on like your path and stay connected to what you truly value, just trusting that those opportunities are going to find you. So I think that's
super dope.
My best.
Yo, you're like, it's like you're very wise. And I appreciate that. And that's why we're on this call. So I'm going to get a bonus question in, because you have a podcast that you recently started, and I want you to talk about everything you're doing. But, you know, your podcast is called The Magical Lane. And I just would like to know, you know, what kind of content do you explore on the show? And what message are you hoping to share, you know, with your listeners and potential listeners? Because there are people that listen to this, they're going to come and listen to you for sure. So if you don't mind answering that question.
Yeah, so The Magical Lane, honestly, I don't know where that name came to me. It just kind of came to me and it sounded right. And The Magical Lane with Maggie Jane, it just kind of flows. But on that podcast, the whole purpose is just finding the magic within yourself and just like having a positive outlook on life, and just knowing that like you are capable of absolutely anything. So a lot of the things that I talk about are aligned with that, and I feel like the purpose of my podcast is just spreading more love and inspiration and just collectively healing and bringing up the higher levels of energy for the people. I call it a podcast for the people. So just spreading love and just like I get really deep into conversations and like really into like your subconscious mind and just healing any trauma or fears or patterns that you built up since you were a kid that you didn't even know you were building up. So just diving into all of that and knowing that they're not limitations, they're just things that need your awareness. Mm-hmm. And gaining awareness of that is the first step to healing anything. So that's mostly what I dive into, and going through just like whether it's in the entertainment industry and the passions that I have, or in relationships or family, and just overall healing and love.
That's dope. Wow. Maggie, I want to talk. I got two more questions. And again, this is kind of going off script. I'm from a small town in California, Fresno, and I moved to Arizona, and I could not get a job in Fresno to save my life. Like I couldn't even get an interview. And literally 2 days after coming to Arizona, I got a job that changed my life just like that. So I really felt what you said about moving and then getting an opportunity right away. What can you say to someone who might be in that small town and they feel stuck, right? Like maybe it's even the younger, version of you, but like they just need that push. Like what are one or two things that helped you make that push that you could share with the audience? Because that one person might need that to make the move.
For me, I'd say the biggest things that really shifted was cutting a lot of people off. So I moved around multiple times. Like I went to multiple middle schools and multiple high schools. So that came very easily to me, just being able to be like, all right, you don't fit my life anymore. All the love, goodbye. So cutting people off and just making sure like the people in your life are aligned with where you want to go. And it's hard, but just accepting that like if the people around you in your environment aren't supporting who you want to become or where you want to be, like you need to rethink the people you have around you, because that's really who's impacting and having a lot of influence on everything that you're doing. Because a lot of people say like you become the 5 closest people that you're around. So who are those 5 closest people? What are they doing? What are their dreams? What are their goals? And also just not being afraid to talk about your goals and dreams. Because even in a small town, like you never know who you're gonna meet. And I feel like getting into this type of industry, it's all about who you know. So speak on it, because you never know who's listening. You never know like who people know. Somebody might live in a small town, but maybe they just moved from LA because they were tired of living in the city and they still have all these connections. So you really never know. So just speaking on your goals and making sure your environment and your closest circle supports where you want to go. And we are in the age of social media, so just looking for opportunities, because there's that's very helpful, especially living in a small town. Like, there's still social media in a small town. So just keeping your eye out, and again, like, your phone listens to you. So if you're talking about it, you're going to start seeing ads about the things that you want. So
True.
I'd say just like
It's very
finding
true.
out what you really want.
Absolutely.
And just owning it. Yeah.
That's dope. Let me ask you. I got one. I keep getting all these other questions because you're very dope to talk to. What's your thoughts, just being in the entertainment industry, on humility? People say be humble. What do you think of that?
I mean, be humble, but also like know your worth and know your power and know that like you got to where you are because you put in a lot of hard work, and you know, still have gratitude and still be proud of yourself, but not taking it too far and thinking that you're better than anybody. And because nobody's better than anybody, like, it doesn't matter who you are, because like the majority of this, not the majority, I don't know, but like a lot of the most successful people and celebrities, like, they're not fulfilled inside. So like, you're not better than anybody. It doesn't matter what you have on the outside. So just being humble, appreciating your journey, and just how can you shine your light bright enough to light up other people's paths? Because I feel like one thing that I always had to remind myself, and a big challenge that I had growing up and just being younger, I always believed that if I shined my light bright, or if I like really stepped into who I was, it was going to take away from other people. But that's not the case at all. Like, the more I shine and the more I allow my light to be, it's just creating permission and opportunity for those around me to do the same. Be inspirational and just shine your light for others.
Super dope, Maggie. Like, that all the way from Switzerland. You know what I'm saying? Like, just dropping like knowledge. So I really appreciate that. I think you should certainly, humility it's a double-edged sword. I think you should definitely shine your light, because that's how you live your best life. Others will shine with you, you know? So I just was curious to get your thoughts on being humble. I think if you have a gift, you should allow it to shine. That's a purpose, right? You don't have that gift by accident. So Maggie, last question for me. You alluded to your podcast, but share with the audience, you know, where they can find you, any upcoming projects, and just anything you want them to know. I'm going to mute out, let you do your thing here.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram or YouTube at _Maggie Jane. It's the same handle. My podcast, like I said, it's called The Magical Lane. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, maybe some more platforms coming soon. As far as like what I'm working on right now, I'm kind of just like in the low zone, doing the grinding on myself and just building up, because I'm traveling Europe. I've been in Europe since February, and I'll be going to Greece in May, and probably staying in Greece for a couple months. And I do have a meeting with an agency out there, so I'm in the works of hopefully getting some international model work and just building up my podcast more and just growing more as a person and a creative. Yeah.
This is dope. Well, I'm sure we're going to be seeing you all on TV, all up in movies, you know what I mean? Just being the star that you are. And I truly, sincerely thank you for sharing your star today on The Art of Being Freed. I'm very energized to put this episode together and just share light and positivity. So with that said, I want to thank you all, the audience, for tuning in today on The Art of Being Freed. If you're listening to this, leave a 5-star review wherever you're hearing it. Would be greatly appreciated. Feel free to like as well and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Until next week, this is your guy Freed with The Art of Being Freed. We will see you soon. Peace.